All right, let's get right into it. What's the real fundamental difference between a wholesaler who kind of scrapes by, making a few grand here and there, and an institutional level operator who's building a serious portfolio? It's not just about finding the deals. It's about having an absolutely ironclad contract that gives you total, undisputed control. So in this explainer, we're going to tear down the exact playbook the pros use to lock down mobile home park deals and, more importantly, protect every single dollar.
I really want you to let this sink in. Your purchase and sale agreement, your PSA, it's not just paperwork. It's not a formality. Think of it as a firewall. Every single clause, every line is doing one of two things. It is either a brick in that wall protecting you, or it's a hole that leaves you exposed. There is no neutral ground here. If you get this wrong, you're not just risking one deal. You're risking your earnest money, you're risking your time, and you're risking your reputation.
So let's talk about the core philosophy here. We call it the control doctrine. And the idea is pretty simple. Real control isn't just about getting a signature on a piece of paper. Anyone can do that. True control comes from the structure you build into that contract. It's an architecture of protection. And this slide right here, this lays out the mindset shift perfectly. The amateur thinks, hey, I got the contract signed, I'm in control. But the institutional operator knows that the quality of that contract is the only thing that matters. The amateur slaps the little and/or assigns clause in there and just hopes the seller plays ball. A professional builds a system, a 7-layer system right into the contract that legally forces cooperation. We're talking about two completely different sports. Okay, so how do we actually build this thing? How do we construct that institutional grade contract? Well, you do it by building that firewall, piece by piece, using some very specific, battle-tested protective clauses. These are the tools that give you the power to dig deep, to negotiate, and, critically, to walk away completely unharmed if you have to. Okay, listen up, because this is it. This is your single most important weapon, the master due diligence clause. Specifically, you need this exact language in buyer's sole and absolute discretion. This is your ultimate exit hatch. It means if you find something you don't like, if the numbers are off, if you just get a weird feeling in your gut, you can terminate the contract and get your earnest money back. Period. No arguments, no debates. The seller does not get a vote. And your DD clause needs to be broad. I mean, look at this list. This isn't just a quick property inspection. You need the explicit written right to tear into everything. The financials, the rent rolls, the physical condition of the pipes in the ground, potential environmental hazards, the legal permits, the water and sewer systems, all of it. Every single one of these items is a potential landmine that can absolutely blow a deal to pieces. Now, here's another clause that separates the pros from the pack. Just having the right to assign the contract, that's not good enough. What happens when the seller gets nervous? Or maybe they just don't like the look of your buyer and decide to be difficult. This clause legally compels them to cooperate. They have to sign the docs. They have to help with the transition. It stops them from holding your entire deal hostage right at the finish line. All right, so theory is great, but let's talk about what happens when this goes wrong in the real world. Let's look at some more stories. These are real scenarios where a weak contract led to devastating losses. Losses that were completely avoidable. Honestly, you'll learn more from these failures than from 100 successful deals. So picture this. You find a permit issue during due diligence. It makes you uncomfortable, so you decide to use your termination right. But the seller argues back. They say the issue isn't material enough. Now your $10,000 in earnest money is trapped in legal purgatory for 8 months. This really happened. And it happened because their contract was missing 5 magic words. In buyer's sole and absolute discretion. With that phrase, if you say it's material, guess what? It's material. Case closed. Man, this one is just painful to even think about. A wholesaler did everything right. They found a fantastic buyer, had a $50,000 assignment fee just sitting there on the table. They get to closing, and the seller just crosses their arms and says, you know what? I don't feel like it. I never agreed to you flipping this. And because there was no cooperation clause, there was nothing to be done. The deal died right there, and that 50 grand just vanished. Here's another trap that'll get you. An unexpected title issue comes up. It's fixable, but you just need a few more weeks. The problem is, you didn't pre-negotiate any extension rights in your contract. Your due diligence period expires, and poof, all your leverage is gone. The seller knows you're trapped, and they hit you with a shakedown. A $25,000 price increase in exchange for an extension. That is a brutal, expensive lesson to learn. So those war stories show you how a weak contract will fail you. But what about when your contract is perfect and the outside world tries to torpedo your deal anyway? Because trust me, it will. A great PSA is absolutely necessary, but it's not enough. You have to manage all the external factors with that same obsessive level of diligence. And that starts with your title company. Choosing the right one is just as important as any clause in your contract. Think of this table as your vetting guide. If you're on the phone with a title officer and you hear the words, "Oh, we don't allow assignments," you don't argue, you don't try to convince them, you say, "Thank you for your time," and you hang up and find a new partner. Immediately. They're telling you they can't handle your business, so believe them.
Okay, this one is a massive legal landmine that trips up so many people, so listen closely. You are not selling a mobile home park. You don't own the real estate. You're selling your contractual position. You're selling the right to purchase the property. It sounds like a small difference, but legally, it's the entire universe. Getting this wording wrong in your marketing isn't just a mistake. It can get you into some serious hot water for brokering without a license.
All right, so let's zoom back out. We've gone through a lot of specific tactics. Let's put it all together into a simple strategic framework. When you're structuring any deal, everything should be built on these 4 core principles. This is the philosophy that should guide every single decision you make. It's really this simple. Pillar 1, limit your downside. Every single clause has one primary job, to be your shield. Pillar 2, preserve your upside. Your assignment rights, your extension rights. This is where your profit comes from. Protect it. Pillar 3, protect your time. Deadlines are the enemy. They kill deals. You have to build in flexibility. And Pillar 4, maintain flexibility. You have to control the transaction from start to finish. That right there is the entire game. And that really brings us to the final, most important question. A question you need to ask yourself right now. After everything we've just covered, take a good, hard look at the contract you're using today. Is it an asset? Is it a tool that gives you control, flexibility, and real protection? Or is it a liability? Is it filled with vague language and structural holes? Just a ticking time bomb waiting for the wrong deal to come along and blow up in your face? The answer to that question will define your future in this business.